Good morning, students. Hope you have understood uh, how to make the shell balance and how to make the boundary conditions of any problem. Uh, today also we'll do some examples of transport phenomena. Last class we have seen that for a falling film how to make uh, the governing equations, means for flow of a falling film how can you done how can you make the boundary conditions also. So for that case we just make two boundary conditions. One is for the solid liquid interface and another one is liquid air interface. And for the case of solid air interface, there is no relative velocity between the solid liquid interface, and the air liquid, there is no shear between the liquid and gas interface. And next, some important points are there, because whenever we are thinking this falling film over that inclined solid plate, we have to make a control volume or shell of a fluid. So here this one is a diagram that we had made this say a control volume, and by assuming the incompressible fluid of that liquid, and means where some amount of liquid is coming in and the coming out from W into del X of that control volume. W into del X, W where W is the width of that control volume and del X is the thickness of that control volume. So and the mass is coming out and the coming through this W del X, that would be W into del X with that Vx term, the velocity at X direction. So this will be the means the volume, and mass will come when we multiply with this parameter W del X Vx with the density. So we can get the momentum by multiplying the mass with velocity. So we have mass and we know the velocity. So at z equals to 0 at that control volume, the momentum will be W del X Vx rho Vx, and z equals to L, also the same amount of mass that is going out from that control volume. Now that momentum which is comes into the control volume due to the convection. Okay, so this convective momentum is taking place through this W del X. W del X. So therefore amount of mass that is coming is equal to the amount of mass going out. So if uh, this means amount of equal mass going in and going out is not considered, then uh, means it is a violation of our steady state assumptions. So whenever we are making the steady state assumptions, so there should not be any accumulation of mass inside the control volume. Okay, whenever we are making any steady state assumptions, so there should not be any accumulation of mass inside that control volume. So whatever the mass is going in, that would be going out. So the velocity if means the convective masses and the convective means convective mass, or the means the momentum, means whatever is going in and the going out, if it is equal, then the convective momentum and the convective momentum in and out, it will be cancel each other. So it will simplify our governing equation. So if we have that governing equation, rate of momentum in minus rate of momentum out plus summation of all forces acting on that control volume equals to 0. So we have the momentum, two type of momentum, means that is that will enter into the control volume. That is one is convective momentum and another is conductive or the molecular transport of momentum. Okay, so convective momentum is due to the velocity, where the velocity will be responsible for this convective momentum. and for the conductive momentum the molecular transport is responsible, that is the shear stress. Okay, so whenever there is a tau term, that would be the conductive transport of momentum, and whenever there is a velocity term, that will be responsible for the convective momentum. So convective momentum in and out, conductive momentum in and out, and plus summation of all forces acting on it. And what are the forces acting on it? The body forces, that is the gravity, and the surface forces, the pressure gradient. Now we have to see, means what are the body forces and what are the pressure forces are acting on that control volume. Now as we are making means assumptions that our fluid is incompressible and it is maintaining the steady state, and the velocity at z direction is only the function of x, not the function of y. So at x, so velocity will be vx and x plus del x, the velocity will be v x plus del x. Okay, so these are the means the steps by which we can get all those parameters. Means first, as we have also discussed, first we have to initialize the control volume. Means whatever the means uh, liquid or the whatever the fluid is flowing over the inclined solid plate, we have to make first a shell or the control volume. Then we have to consider means the boundary conditions, what are the appropriate boundary conditions, and in that control volume some forces are acting, some shear stress are acting. Now what are the shear stress and how it can incorporate to find out the governing equation, and what are the z component of momentum due to the viscosity. So this will we need to find out. So forces are also the forces, means the forces acting on that control volume, which is the shear stress term, shear stress term which will act on the means over that control volume and the bottom part, means the top of that control volume and the bottom of the control volume. So bottom of the control volume, it will be means LW tau x, and top of the control volume the same force acting on that two layer of that control volume, means the top layer and the bottom layer. Now means as we know, means how to make the control volume over that solid plate. Okay, and how to make the control volume, means how to make the boundary conditions. So then we find, means what are the governing equation, and after finding it we have to integrate it by using those boundary condition. We have to find the velocity profiles or the forces acting on that solid. So these are we need to find out. So now we are today we will discuss about the modeling of the flow of that falling film. So I will once again tell you that the salient features of this problem we are trying to model. Okay, we are trying to model this falling film. So it's a liquid which is in constant with an inclined plate, and it is falling while maintaining constant thickness, means a constant film thickness of delta over that solid plate, and the coordinate system is drawn in such a way in that direction of flow, it's z. Okay, it's z. Across the depth of the fluid it is x, and in the y direction. Okay, so the velocity changes only in the x direction. As we know that the velocity here changes only in the x direction, it does not change in the z direction. So now we are imagining a shell of thickness del x in the flow of fluid, which is aligned in the flow field, and the length of the shell is capital L and width is W. So these two are constants, L and W. So there would be one face which is perpendicular to the flow. So there would be another face which is perpendicular to the flow, and if this is my imaginary shell, means over means the top part of that control volume. So if this was our imaginary shell, so this face going to perpendicular to the flow, and across the right side of the face mass is going to enter to the control volume and leave and the left side of that control volume, the mass will be leaving out. Okay, so convective flow of the fluid can only take place through these left and right faces of this control volume. Okay, means only the means the convective flow can only taken through this left face and the right face. Means the here from the left face means the mass is going in, and from the right face the mass is going out. Now we have to write the expression, the amount of momentum that comes in and the momentum that comes out. So the velocity is not a function of z. Okay, so the velocity is not a function of z. So therefore two terms in and out by convection will cancel each other. So as this velocity is not a function of z, so these two convective term will cancel each other. So we will also understand that the velocity at a point below to that control volume and the velocity at the point above the control volume are different, because this is my x direction, and somewhere over down that control volume I have my solid plate, and so velocity over here is more as compared to the velocity over that portion, because as I approach towards the solid plate. Okay, so the velocity decreases and on the solid plate because of no slip conditions. So velocity will decreases means towards the solid plate as there is a no slip condition, means no relative velocity present in between the solid and the liquid interface. So these variation are coming from the Newton's law of viscosity. So as we know that there exists a shear stress on the top surface and on the bottom surface of that control volume, and if the fluid is Newtonian, we can simply express the shear stress at the top of the control volume as tau xz equals to mu dvz dx. Okay, so top of that control volume and the bottom surface of that control volume, the shear stress are acting, and this shear stress means at the top of that control volume the shear stress will be tau xz mu dvz dx. Why vz? Because velocity at z direction. Okay, dvz, where mu is the viscosity. Okay, here, and the gradient expression at the bottom of the control volume will remain the same. Only thing that we are evaluating is at x plus del x. Okay, so one is at x and another is at x plus del x. So the molecular transport of momentum is simply going to mu dvz dx multiply with the area, means the shear stress term multiply with that area. Means we know that the convective momentum I have that the mass first we have to find that area, means the from where the convective mass is going in and going out, that is W into del x, and if you multiply with that velocity Vx, we can get that W into dx into Vx, it will be volume, and if you multiply this volume with the density, we can get the mass, and this mass with the velocity we can get the momentum term. So the convective momentum that we found that is coming in and the coming out from that control volume, it will be cancel each other, because the velocity at z direction will remain same. Okay, so and the conductive and the molecular transport of momentum, what about the conductive and the molecular transport of momentum? Because there means I have mentioned earlier that wherever there is a conductive and the molecular transport of momentum, there should be a shear stress term tau. Okay, this shear stress multiply with that area where that momentum is taking place. So if you multiply that force per unit area, that is our tau, the shear stress, with multiply that area, we can find that conductive or the molecular transport of momentum. Okay, so there is also a gravity force which is acting on that surface. So on this control volume of thickness del x and the length capital L and the width w, and so the mass of the liquid which is contained in the volume L into W into del x into rho. Okay, the area is L into W, and then del x multiply with the area, it will be the volume, and another is G cos beta. Okay, this is the component of body force, G cos beta. So the force acting on it, it will be the mass multiply with that the G cos beta, mean the gravitational force term, which is acting vertically. Okay, with making an angle with that inclined plate beta. Okay, so that component will be G cos beta. So overall the force acting on it, it will be L W del x rho, which is our mass, multiply with that G cos beta. So it will becomes now the means the overall governing equation. The overall governing equation, it will be convective momentum in mine at z equals to 0, convective momentum out at z equals to L, plus conductive or the molecular transport of momentum in at x direction, and conductive or the molecular transport of momentum out from x plus del x direction, plus summation of all forces means acting on that control volume, that we have also found that it will be mass multiply with the G cos beta. These governing equations, this means whatever we found from this control volume, it will be 0. Okay, now here we are simplifying this equation. Means here the convective momentum, it will cancel each other, because at z equals to 0 the velocity is equals to the velocity at z equals to L. Okay, and then we cancel the LW term, LW term. So uh, we found by by simplifying that governing equations, by cancelling the convective term, and the that L into W, that term we will simplify and divide that term both side by del x, and taking a limit when del x tends to 0. Okay, del x tends to 0. So it will be limit tau exit at x plus del x minus tau exit at x divided by del x, and limit del x tends to 0, that will be equals to rho G cos beta, because we cancel out that L into W, that that the area means where the conductive or the molecular transport of momentum acting. So we'll cancel that LW term, and we taking the limit at del x tends to 0, we found that limit tau exit at x plus del x minus tau exit at x upon del x, which will be equals to rho G cos beta, which lead us to the definition of the first derivative. Okay, this limit, whenever we are taking this limit, that leads us to the definition of the first derivative, and from these difference equations we are able to find the differential equation. Okay, so difference in equation, from this difference in equation we would be able to obtain that the differential equation, and after integrating this we means after taking the limit, we found that d dx tau exit equals to rho G cos beta. Okay, and next we need to integrate it. Now after integrate this d dx tau exit equals to rho G cos beta, we found tau xz equals to rho g cos beta x plus c1. This is c1 is the integral constants. Now we have to find these constants by assuming that means the boundary conditions. So as we know, what are the two boundary conditions prevail in this transport phenomena? One is the means the that the
No slip,
solid liquid interface, the no slip condition, and another is the no shear
no
condition,
stress.
which is at the liquid and gas interface. So here, that is the tau xz. Okay, shear stress equals to rho g cos beta x plus c1. Here we are making the boundary condition at liquid gas interface. Why not c2? Means why not that solid liquid interface? Because this tau exit the shear stress acting on the top of this control volume and the bottom of the of the control volume. As we go away from that solid plate, that means the velocity will increase, and after some time the velocity will be maximum, that the fluid velocity will be maximum, and beyond that we will find the gas or the air existence. Okay, so as we go further from the solid plate, we have that air. After that is the uh, after this a boundary layer of that uh, fluid, we found that the air or the gas. So for this tau xz, shear stress equals to rho g cos beta x plus c1, we need to consider the boundary condition at liquid gas interface. Okay, means at x equals to 0, here tau xz, that the shear stress will be 0. So therefore c1 will be 0. So from here we found that the tau xz equals to rho g cos beta x. Okay, so tau xz equals to rho g cos beta x. Now as we know from for the Newtonian fluid, tau xz, that shear stress is also equals to the minus mu dvz dx. Okay, tau xz equals to minus mu dvz dx, and also we know that the velocity at z direction, which is a function of x, not the function of y and not the function of z. Okay, so from these two, and also we have that tau xz equals to rho g cos beta x, we can find that means if we rearrange it, dvz, we can get this form dvz dx equals to minus rho g cos beta upon mu multiply with x. Now again we have to integrate this one, dvz dx equals to minus rho g cos beta upon mu into x. Now if we integrate it, again we found another integral constant, which is c2. Here v2 equals to, after integrating this term, we found that vz equals to minus rho g cos beta upon mu into x square upon 2 plus c2. So here is also the another integral constant term. So this one also we need to find out by making the another boundary conditions, which is our no slip conditions at solid liquid interface. Okay, so it will be at solid liquid interface. So in order to solve this c2, we use the that second boundary condition, which is no slip, that tells us at x equals to delta. Delta is the film thickness. Okay, so here the delta we are considering that the film thickness at x equals to delta, that vz equals to 0. So at x equals to delta, velocity at z direction is 0. That means at the solid liquid interface, my velocity must be equal to 0, which is known as the no slip conditions. So when we put that in here by solving this c2, by incorporating the boundary conditions, we can get this vz equals to minus rho g delta square cos beta upon 2 mu multiply with 1 minus x upon delta whole square. Okay, so this one is the velocity profile for the falling film of a solid inclined plate, which is like a parabolic in nature. Okay, parabolic in nature. So now we know the velocity profile. Now we have to find out the maximum velocity. So what will be the maximum velocity of this fluid? So means now if we think if means I have what we have set out to form that very beginning, that I have an expression for the velocity, and this expression for the velocity contains several parameters. So if we think uh, the velocity is going to the maximum at the liquid air interface, if the velocity is going to the maximum at the liquid air interface, the velocity is going to be minimum 0 in this case at the solid liquid interface. Okay, so at the liquid air interface the velocity is going to maximum, and the solid liquid interface, the liquid air interface the velocity will be maximum, and the solid liquid interface the velocity will be 0. And when we look at the functional form of the velocity variation, we would see that the variation is parabolic in nature. So therefore we plot the velocity, it is going to be the something like the profile, and like the parabolic in nature, and the velocity varies from 0 to some Vmax at x equals to 0. Okay, so the velocity varies from 0 to some Vx at Vmax at x equals to 0. So in between it follows the parabolic path. Okay, so velocity from 0 to maximum, velocity from 0 means where the solid liquid interface to maximum means at the gas liquid interface. So in between these, x equals to 0 means where the velocity is 0 and to the maximum, so it will follow the parabolic path till x equals to delta. Okay, from x equals to 0 to x equals to delta, it will follow the parabolic path. So at x equals to 0 we will get our V max at z direction, it will be rho g delta square cos beta by 2 mu. When we are incorporating that x equals to 0 in that velocity profile term, we can get the maximum velocity at z direction, that will be rho g delta square cos beta upon 2 mu. So here we can see that if we increase the solid plate angle which is in inclined in situation, so if we increase the angle of that solid plate, then the velocity will also increase, vz will increase. And for a constant system geometry, for a constant system geometry means where the length, width, depth, it is not changing, it is remains constant. Okay, so for this constant system geometry, where if viscosity is decreasing, if mu is decreasing, then also the velocity at z direction will increase. Okay, clear? So from this velocity profile we know that if we increase the angle of beta, okay, so velocity will increase. If we decrease the viscosity of that fluid, then also we can increase the velocity of that fluid at z direction. So lesser viscous fluid will flow faster, lesser viscous fluid will flow faster along an incline in compared to a more viscous fluid. Okay, so lesser viscous fluid will flow faster over that inclined plate compared to the more viscous fluid. So this is also the reason, that is why we are means in the petroleum refinery, we are decreasing the viscosity of that crude oil by passing this means after drilling out that crude oil, it has to send to the desalter unit. Before that desalter unit, some heat exchangers are there for increasing its means decreasing its
It's
viscosity.
breaking.
And then again after the desalter unit we have some series of heat exchanger to decrease its viscosity, so that the fluid will go flow faster through the tubes or the any equipments. Okay, So as an engineer we are more interested to know what is the average velocity. Okay, so in the, as we have mentioned earlier, that in the transport phenomena we are bothered about only the average velocity, not the point velocity. So here means we are more interested to know what about the average velocity. What about the average velocity? Now how can you find the average velocity? So all the average velocities that we are going to differ from now on will be area average velocity, whereas the area across which which I'm averaging is perpendicular to the principal direction of flow. Okay, means all the average velocities that we are going to differ from now on will be area average velocity, whereas the area across which I am averaging is perpendicular to the principal direction of flow. So here the principal direction of flow is the z direction. So it is an area which is perpendicular to the z direction. So it is a z phase across which I am doing the integration with our understanding that the velocity varies with x.
हेलो
It
सर.
does not vary with y.
हेलो सर.
Hello.
सर अब सुधांशु को एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहे आई थिंक सर.
Oh,
वो ज्वाइन होना चाह रहा है.
okay. So even though we are using the double integration in order to obtain that the average velocity to across that z phase, means across that y, it does not uh, uh, vary does not vary, or across x it does not vary. Okay, so the expression for the average velocity mathematically it would be vz equals to double integration. First integration it will be from 0 to w, that is our width. Then the second integration from 0 to delta. Zero to delta. Okay, that is our film thickness. With that vz, the velocity, multiply with that dx and dy term. Why? Because across this y and the x, that the velocity will not vary. So 0 to w, 0 to delta, vz dx dy upon 0 to double integration 0 to w, 0 to delta dx dy. So by making this double integration we will find that the vz, the average velocity, it will be equals to 1 upon delta integration 0 to delta limit and vz dx. So the vz will be rho g delta square cos beta upon 3 mu. Okay, so this velocity, average velocity, will be rho g delta square cos beta upon 3 mu. And the volumetric flow rate, what will be the volumetric flow rate? If we multiply this average velocity with that film thickness into the area w. Okay, because this x varies from 0 to delta, that film thickness, x equals to 0 to x equals to delta. Okay, so means once we have this average velocity, then we would also like to know that what is the volumetric flow rate. So the volumetric flow rate would be simply q equals to w into delta vz, which is rho g w delta cube cos beta upon 3 mu. So so you can start with the very fundamental concepts, that rate of momentum in minus rate of momentum out plus summation of all forces acting on that control volume equals to 0. So when you use the concept and define a control volume, the smaller size would be denoted by the direction in which the flow is changing, and in this case the changing with the x direction. So therefore you have del x as one of the dimensions of the control volume. So you also identify that we are dealing with the simplest possible case, which is one dimensional flow. Okay, so the velocity is a function of x, is not a function of z or a function of y. Velocity is a function of x, not a function of z or a function of y. So if we divide both sides by del x, use the definition of the first derivative and what we get in a differential equation. So solve the differential equation with the boundary conditions, no slip, no shear, and we get a compact expression for the velocity. So once we have the expression for the velocity, then we would be able to obtain the average velocity and then total volumetric flow rate. Okay, now these are the overall steps of by making this uh, the average velocity and the total volumetric flow rate. So one part of that means what is the force exerted by the fluid on the solid. Okay, now what is the force exerted by the moving fluid on that solid plate. Okay, if we think, we can clearly see that the force exerted by the fluid on the solid plate, the force is in the direction perpendicular to the motion. The force is in the direction perpendicular to the motion here. Okay, so the force will be in direction perpendicular to the motion. So the motion in this place, but the force get transferred from the liquid to the solid in this direction, and since it's moving, it would try to take the plate along with it. So in order to keep the plate stationary, we must apply force in the reverse direction. Okay, so as this fluid is motions, so the force gets transferred from the from the liquid to the solid in the same direction, and since it is moving, means that since this fluid is moving, this fluid obviously it would try to take the plate along with it. So in order to keep that plate stationary, we must apply a force in the reverse direction, because the fluid flow would try to take the plate along with it. So what we have to do, it must be that force, whatever the force we are incorporating to the reverse of that flow, it must be due to the viscosity. So the shear stress out of this viscosity is essentially the shear stress exerted on the top area of the solid plate. Okay, so the shear stress out of this viscosity is essentially shear stress exerted on the top of the solid plate, and which is one of the force that is exerted by the solid on the plate. Okay, by the liquid on the plate. So what is the area on which it is acting on it? Now this force should be acting on a surface that is L into W. L the length of that control volume and W is the width of that control volume. So if I need to find out the total force exerted by the fluid on the solid plate, it would need to integrate these tau xz. Okay, so if we need to find out the total force exerted by the fluid on the solid plate, we need to integrate this shear stress term tau xz over dz and dw. Dz is the z direction, okay, and the dw is the width, means the w means the small sections of the width. So we have to integrate this tau xz over dz and dw, and the limits on z must be equal to 0 to L. So the limit would be 0 to L and the limits on y would be 0 to W. So z, what is the limit of this z? The z will be 0 to L, because the length of that control volume over that in that z direction, where the convective or the shear stress is acting on the top and the bottom of that control volume, and the length of that control volume is L. So at whenever we are thinking about that, at the shear stress is acting from means which area, then if we consider at the means the length sections, if we are considering the z part, so it will be from the 0 to L for the z, and for the y it will be 0 to W. So if we can perform this one, we would be able to get an expression what is the force exerted by the fluid on that solid plate. So as means as we can perform this one, we'd be able we able to find that the force. Okay, so the solid plate in turn gives the same thing back to the fluid. Okay, so if the fluid is giving a force, okay, because of the fluid flowing, and the solid plate in return gives the same thing back of the fluid. So let's figure out the force exerted by the fluid on that plate. So it will be the z component of the force. It will be the z component of the force of the fluid on the surface, which will be equals to Fz equals to double integration. First integration, that will be for z, it will be limit from 0 to L, and next integration the limit will be for y, which is from 0 to W, with tau xz at x equals to delta. X equals to delta means the thickness, means where we have x that will vary from x to 0 to x to delta, that film thickness. Okay, so the force of the z component, it will be double integration from 0 to L and 0 to W, tau xz at x equals to delta. And as we know from the Newton's law of viscosity, that tau xz, it will be minus mu dvz dx. Okay, at x equals to delta, multiply with that dy dz. Okay, uh, so here will be means fz equals to 0 to L, 0 to W, tau xz at x equals to delta, multiply with dy dz terms should be there. It will means here it is missing by mistakenly. I didn't incorporate this one. So there it will be fz equals to double integration tau xz x equals to delta, multiply with dy dz, and then we are incorporating that Newton's law of viscosity, which is minus mu dvz dx at x equals to delta dy dz. And after simplifying and integrating this double integrating this equation, we can find this rho g delta cos beta into L into W. That area means it is the z component of the weight. Okay, it is the z component of the weight of the entire fluid present in the film on the plate. So this is the equation, means force, that the z component force, by double integrating we found that rho g delta cos beta Lw, this is the z component of the weight of the entire fluid present in the film on the plate. So this gives us there is uh, no viscosity present. Look at that expression, that Fz equals to rho g delta cos beta Lw, but no viscosity term is there. So the entire thing tells you that the force of the fluid on the surface is simply the width of the fluid contained in the film. So that's another interesting result. So the force means the force of the fluid on the surface, the force of the fluid, the force of the fluid on the surface is simply the width of the fluid contained in the film. So as there is no viscosity term, mu term, this is only happened due to the width of the fluid contained in the film. So whenever we talk about this kind of simple modeling, we must be aware of the limits imposed by our simplified treatment. So the first thing, it is not valid for very first flow, because it is only valid for the laminar flow. Okay, so these limits only valid for the laminar flow. If you don't have the turbulent flow, if the liquid is moving at a very high velocity, then we are going to get waves at the top, and you would probably not be able to use the concept, that is the zero shear at the liquid vapor interface. Okay, so whenever there is a turbulent flow, we get some waves at the top, and we would be probably not be able to use that concepts, that is the zero shear at the vapor liquid interface, and so on. So we have also assumed that this one is the one dimensional flow with straight streamlines. This one also our another assumption. So if it's two dimensional flow or the three dimensional flow, then we would not be able to use this simple analysis. And finally, whether or not it's laminar flow or the turbulent flow, we would be able to obtain that. We will be able to get an idea by calculating, means what is the Reynolds number for the flow. And for a certain range of Reynolds number, lower values of Reynolds number, this analysis is perfectly valid. Okay, so at lower values of Reynolds number, this analysis is perfectly valid, and this is an ideal example to show how it can be done. So the other complexity that we didn't consider, let's say if there is a solid plate on which the inclined plate on which the flow takes place in an elevated temperature. Okay, so if there is any inclined solid plate on which the flow takes place is at an elevated temperature, so this is one of the complexity of this problem. If it is an elevated temperature, then the viscosity that we have used to express the shear stress using Newton's law of viscosity, that is tau, is equal to minus the velocity gradient. Okay, so mu is a function of x. So mu near the plate, since the temperature is more, would be lower as compared to the mu near the top. So this variation in the physical property, the transport properties of the system, can cause additional problem, and you won't be able to obtain such a closed for simplified solution. So if you also have the plate at higher temperature, then uh, that could that will set a heat transfer across the film as well. So not only in thermophysical property would vary, the temperature would vary, as a result of which the flow field, the velocity would be different than what we have done here. So this is just a tiny things that we took in this class, understanding that the fluid flow towards trying to see how the shell momentum balance in the simplest possible uh, term can be used to find out what is the velocity field. But in the real life, the thing is much more complex. As we progress in this course further, we will see how to model or simulate situation in which it is very closer to reality, and that would teach us how to solve or analyze a real life problem. Okay, now we have uh, some numericals that we have to solve. This is the two problem. One is two parallel plates some distance apart. Between the plates, water is used at 24 degrees centigrade, and the lower plate is being pulled at a constant velocity 0.4 meter per second faster relative to the top plate. And how far apart should the top plates be placed so that the shear stress is zero point 0.3 Newton per meter square, and also calculate the shear rate. And the problem 2 is also you have to calculate the shear stress and the shear rate. Okay, so these two problems you have to solve by your own. Thank you, students.